Eventually, the excitement settled down and life went on. But after so many years of war and imprisonment, things could never really be the same. For the people in the camp, there were no sad farewells. When it came time to leave, they quietly packed away the pain they had endured, along with their belongings. Their struggles were things that many chose not to remember, instead letting them fade away into dust-covered memories. Weihsen's inmates returned home, some to their home countries, others back to the lives they had created for themselves in China. Despite the years in the camp, China was still home to many of the inmates, the place where they were born and raised, and a place they would always carry with them in their hearts.
I remember at Hong Kong, we were leaving, and most people were downstairs doing things on the deck. I was on the deck, looking at there all the time, crying. Nobody else was. I think they probably felt it, but I wanted to see China right to the last, until I couldn't see it anymore. All I could see was sea. But every day, my mind goes back to China, thinking about it. I had such an interesting early life there.
Suffering is a good teacher. It hurts, but it also rescues and redeems. The suffering endured by the Weihsen inmates can never be forgotten. Yet the side of their suffering was also the side of their purification. And every Weihsen inmate emerged from the camp a wiser person.
经过那5年半是很痛苦的经过，但是走出来以后，就发现是何等宝贵的一种的经历，人生难忘的，并且是塑造一个新的人生，一个新的人。我们在集中营的时候，无论是爷爷，是老师，是这些朋友，是同学，我们都在一个绝望的情况的里面。可是因为有一种爱，能够帮助我们渡过难关，胜过绝望，走上光明的道路。
James Taylor spent 25 years in Taiwan as a teacher and youth educator, and 11 years in Singapore before returning to Hong Kong. But wherever he goes, he takes the lessons of Weihsen with him and lives in service of others. His Yantai Zhifu classmate Stephen went to Japan after the war in the spirit of forgiveness.
Big room like this.
Inspired by his own teacher, Eric Little, he wanted to bring love to the country that had hurt him. Janet's family left Shanghai in 1949 and lived in Hong Kong for 3 years. But her father's weak heart did not respond well to Hong Kong's climate. And in 1952, they returned to Belgium. Her father, a photography enthusiast, took many pictures of the family's happy life after the war. Weihsen was kept hidden in their memories. But the time they spent there was never far from their hearts.
We were liberated. I was very afraid because my world had come to an end. Because the first time I left camp to go for a walk with the Dutch friends, I felt dizzy. I felt there are no walls. What's happening? It was very difficult to readapt afterwards to everyday life.
World War II has been over for 60 years, and the pain and loss have gradually become part of history.
Well, this is a parachute that came down from a B-29 with certainly a can of food, and every person in camp, when everything was finished, every person in camp received one section of a parachute. We were 5 in the family, and we received 5 sections. And since the war, well, we kept this parachute very preciously. For us, it is a symbol of our liberty. And there we go. It's a family treasure. You will keep it for many years.
More tea? Please serve yourself.
The Westerners who lived at Weihsen were not physically abused, but the psychological strain and the lack of fundamental rights they suffered left invisible scars on each of the camp's over 2,000 inmates. For Janet's younger brother, Pander, who entered the camp aged 2 and left at 5, Weihsen survives only as broken bits of memories. To help make sense of what he was too young to remember, he has devoted considerable energies to sorting through documentary evidence pertaining to the camp.
That we were Belgians. And I found Father Anquet was also an adventure. I found him by our national TV corporation. And when he told me that he held me in his arms when I was 2 years old in Weihsen,
Really?
I said, but that is extraordinary. Tell me about Weihsen. And he told me stories about Weihsen. And I heard so much about Weihsen at that time. I found friends from Weihsen, and I started to study internet and to try and make a website. And now the website is very big, 700 megabytes big.
Yeah.
With drawings, paintings, pictures.
After returning home, Weihsen's internees began to record and collect materials about life at the camp, trying to decipher its larger significance. They will never forget the time they spent there, but they wanted to do more than just remember it. If they could use their experiences to gain insight into the human condition, then other people could benefit from them as well. The inmates started to contact one another and encourage each other to share these secrets and often painful memories. They created the Weihsen Internees Association, established their own website, and wrote memoirs. Many have revisited the site of the camp, including former U.S. Ambassador to China, Arthur Hummel. Sunderland Smollett, who was born in the camp and is the wife of a former Citibank vice president, has established a scholarship. And the Little Foundation has helped the city of Weifang build athletic facilities. Former New Jersey legislator Mary Previtt made it her mission to locate the 7 duck team members who liberated the camp and to stay in touch with them or their widows. She is still looking for Wang Chenghan, the mission's Chinese interpreter. Of the 7 brave soldiers who risked their lives to save the inmates, he is the only one she has yet to find. In August 2007, Simon Clegg, the CEO of the British Olympic Committee and leader of the British 2008 Olympic delegation, visited the site of the Weihsen Camp to mark the 1-year countdown of the Beijing Olympic Games. Standing in front of a granite monument shipped over from Britain, he paid tribute to the Olympic champion Eric Liddell and the shared memories of the Chinese and British citizens united by the camp. A museum has been erected on the original campsite by the Weifang municipal government. It attracts people from all over the world who come to remember and pay their respects. In China, Weihsen is the most widely known and largest of the foreign internment camps. It was the wartime home to many well-known people, including the second U.S. ambassador to the PRC, Arthur Hummel, Shandong University founder Watson M. Hayes, advisor to Chiang Kai-shek, Raymond J. DeJager, and Olympic champion Eric Liddell, who inspired the movie Chariots of Fire. For Weihsen's children, the camp was a prison, but also an invaluable learning opportunity, the kind that can only be born in adversity. Cold, hungry, and faced with the constant threat of death, they were taught not to complain, not to blame others, not to hate, and not to feel sorry for themselves. Instead, they learned to maintain their dignity, be generous with their praise, make sacrifices for the common good, and be thankful to be alive. The pain and suffering has been transformed into spiritual wealth, sustaining both themselves and their descendants. To them, Weihsen has become their second spiritual home.